Welcome back to Conversations with Debbie. Today, I want to talk about something I've been learning recently, or maybe something life has been forcing me to learn. And that's the idea of going with the flow of your life. Now, before anybody misunderstands me, when I say go with the flow of your life, I don't mean becoming lazy. I don't mean giving up on your dreams. I don't mean refusing to take responsibility for your life. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about learning the difference between effort and control. Because for the longest time, I believed that if I planned well enough, worked hard enough, prayed enough, then life would go exactly the way I wanted it to go. And we all have these timelines. By this age, I'll be here. Next year, we accomplish this. By this time, I'll be married. By this time, this opportunity will work out. This dream will work out. And then life happens and suddenly you're standing in a place you never planned to be. Sometimes it's better than you imagined. At other times it's worse, but almost always different from what you imagined. And then that's when life starts to teach you a lesson most of us don't want to learn, which is you're responsible for effort. You're not responsible for outcome. Let me say that again. You are responsible for your effort. You're not responsible for every outcome. Because if outcomes were entirely in our control, then every hardworking person would be successful. Every good person would be happy. Every loving relationship would work out. It will last. Every dream would come to pass. It will come to fruition. But unfortunately, life doesn't work like that. There are too many variables. There are too many people, too many circumstances, too many things that are beyond our control. And the older I get, the more I realize how much suffering actually comes from trying to control things that were never within our control in the first place. And sometimes we hold on tightly to a particular outcome that we miss out on what life actually wants to give us. We become so attached to one job, one path, one person, one dream, one version of our future, that when life begins to move us in another direction, we fight it. We automatically assume that it is a negative thing. We resist it. We argue with it. We try to force things. And the harder we try, the more exhausted we become. Have you ever noticed that sometimes life feels like you're trying to push a door that clearly says pull, and you're using all your strength? You're frustrated, you're angry, you're confused. Meanwhile, the problem wasn't even the door in the first place. The problem is that you were fighting the way that it was designed. And I think that that's what happens in life sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. Sometimes the thing is, we're trying to force something that isn't simply supposed to be. Sometimes the relationship ends because it was supposed to end. Sometimes the job doesn't happen because something else is supposed to happen. Sometimes the plan falls apart because the plan was too small. And no, I'm not saying everything happens for a reason in some neat little inspirational quote kind of way. No, life is messy. Pain is real. Disappointment is real. Grief is real. But I'm saying that fighting reality really improves reality. And at some point, you have to stop arguing with what it is. At some point, you have to accept where you are. Not because you like it, not because it's fair, not because, but because it is what it is, right? And acceptance is powerful. Acceptance doesn't mean that you stop trying. Acceptance means that you stop wasting your energy pretending that reality is something other than what it is. And really, that's where surrender comes in. I think surrender is one of the most powerful and most misunderstood concepts at the same time. People think that surrender means giving up. People think that surrender means weakness. People think that surrender means defeat. But sometimes surrender is not about giving up. Surrender is really saying, I have done what I can do. I have learned what I can learn. I have tried what I can try. And now I'm going to release my grip on the things I cannot control. Personally, for me, the quality of my life improved when I decided to accept the flow of my life. There are so many things. There are personal expectations, right? There are things that we expect that, okay, by this time now, I'll have this thing. By this time now, my life will be like this. By this time now, my career will be here. Or this is how, if only this and this thing happened, right? If only this person did not disappoint me in this way. If only this person showed up for me in this way. If only this person was good to me. If only this person did not disappoint me. If only. It never ends. But what if those things were supposed to happen? What if they were supposed to disappoint you in that way? What if they were supposed to reject you? What if it wasn't supposed to work out? What if the door closing was the protection? What if it was intentional? What if it was part of the answered prayers? How do you know? Sometimes we sit down and we say, life is not working in my favor. Things are not working out for me. How do you know it's not working out for you? Who told you that it's not working out for you? Can you see the full picture of your life? Do you know what happens in the next 1 month? Do you know what happens in 6 months? Do you know what happens in the next year? Do you know what happens in 10 years? How can you conclude? You that cannot see beyond your nose. You cannot, when you look like this, you can't see beyond your nose. How did you conclude? How did you know? How did you know that it's not working out for you? You that cannot predict what happens the next moment. How did you conclude that it's not in your favor? Remember that all things work together for good. So, my peace of mind increased. The quality of my life increased. I'm not there yet. I am not there yet. But it got better. It improved. The day I realized that, what if I am fighting against the waves? You can steer the boat, control the wind. What if this is exactly how my life is supposed to play out? The frustration comes mostly from the internal struggle. The struggle to accept reality. The struggle to go with the flow of your life. And how difficult is it in this our social media age? When even that your friend that you've not seen for 3 years, 4 years, you can still keep in touch with all of their latest progress because they're posting it on social media. And you can see, it's very easy to compare and say, okay, but this person is getting this. Okay, but why is it that it's only me? Why is it that this person is getting this? Why? Go with the flow of your life. Different timings, different races, different seasons. Stop trying to force outcomes because you feel that somebody else, they don't have 2 heads. You know all those things they used to tell us when we were little. And does this person have 3 heads? They don't have 3 heads, but you don't have the same life with them. They are not you. You're not them. You simply did not come to this world to live out the same script. Everybody's life will not be the same. Most likely, most of the people you will meet in the course of your life are different stages of their life's journey. And you people are not in the same stage in life. Learn to accept reality. Am I saying give up on your dreams because it's not working out? No. But the law of diminishing return teaches us that there is a sweet spot, right? There's a sweet spot in everything. There's a point when you're putting in effort. There's a time when you need to stop putting in effort, because the more you put in effort at that point, the more redundant your effort becomes. Understanding the sweet spot of your life, knowing that you've done what you can do, you've put in the effort where you can put in the effort, you've put in the effort where you should put in the effort, you've tried, you've made all the moves you can make. And what's left, whatever happens after that time, is the course of your life. Accept the flow of your life. Don't let people tell you, that unnecessary pressure that you allow people to put in your head, that you allow yourself to put inside of your own head. That is what is killing us. That is why we're a very depressed generation. Stop comparing your lives with other people's life. Stop comparing your success with other people's success. I was having a conversation with my husband yesterday, and he said something. I've heard it too many times, but in the context of that conversation, it was very striking. He asked me, what is your definition of success? What do you say is success? And that question reminded me of what I was asking myself a year ago. What is real success? And I've come to tell you that there is no standard of success. The richest man in your village is probably not on Forbes' list. If we begin to measure success by how many people you are better than, then you have missed the point. Define success for yourself. I cannot define it for you. What success means to me cannot and should not be what success means to you. It's different for different people, and that's why I have a problem with people who always try to impose their ideas of a well-lived life on other people. The fact that you feel that success is about going to school, getting all of the degrees that you want to get, does not mean that the person that learnt a trade at May Market, whose idea of success is running a successful business without going to school, feeding his family without begging anybody because his father could not feed his family, does not mean that they failed in life. Because they didn't go to school does not mean that you that went to school, you're better than them. What is success to you? Define success for yourself. Let nobody else's life or opinion be the standard of success. And then when all has been said and done, go with the flow of your life. The best lived life is the life lived in surrender. Is the life that accepts that I am responsible for effort. I am not necessarily responsible for outcome. I can put in the work, I can strategize, I can plan, I can do whatever it is I need to do. But at the end of the day, the outcome is not determined solely based on my effort. And that's why these days I'm trying to hold my plans a little more loosely. Yes, I still have goals, I still have dreams, I still work hard, I still make plans. But I just no longer believe that my plans are the final authority on how life should unfold. Because life has humbled me enough to know that there is a difference between having a vision and trying to control the universe. So maybe that's the lesson. Plan, work, dream, prepare, show up, do your part. But leave room for life. Leave room for surprises. Leave room for redirection. And maybe going with the flow of your life isn't about giving up on your dreams. Maybe it's about trusting that life can sometimes imagine a future for you that's bigger than the one that you imagined for yourself. Anyway, that's what's been on my mind lately. Let me know in the comments. Have you ever had a season in your life where life took you somewhere completely different from where you planned? And looking back now, was it a detour or was it actually a part of the plan all along? I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.